Good to see you.
Look at us with our identical screens.
Oh, so excited to be here, Dr. Una. So good to
Makita,
see you.
can you help me turn up my light? Makita is coming to say hi, but she won't be able to hear you because I have my.
No worries, no worries.
You're gonna turn this up for me just a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh
They get to see the team.
yeah.
We're live, by the way.
We are live? Okay.
Yes.
Well, okay, that's okay. Don't say hi. Dr. Tola says we're live already, but
Good to see you. Mwah.
It's so beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. We are live. We are live. Happy today to you, depending on where you're watching. This is Dr. LaBinton. I help people live long and well because I believe the quality of life is just as important as the quantity of life. I know I say I'm excited every time, but I'm really, really, really excited to have on our guest today. She's not only a friend and mentor, she is my business coach. I will put it out there. She is my business coach. If you're wondering, one of the keys to success is following good people who are doing the things. So she is mine. That's why I'm honored. I'm delighted, little flabbergasted to have her on. Dr. Nneka Unachukwu, also known as Dr. Una. She's here with us, and we're going to be talking about how to transform your life with goal setting. Dr. Una, thank you for the privilege. How are you? And all the things.
I'm good. I'm so excited to be here. I'm excited about our matching bookcases. It looks like we're in the same office. I love it.
Yeah, I may have borrowed that idea from you. May have just.
That's okay. I'll allow it.
Awesome. Now, I would like to introduce Dr. Una myself, and then I'll give you a chance to kind of introduce yourself, who you are and what you do. But Dr. Una is an amazing human being. She's a founder of EntreMD, a company on a mission to help hundreds of thousands of physicians like myself build profitable 7 and 7+ figure businesses so they have the freedom to live life and practice medicine on their own terms and to live out their purpose. Yes. She does this through the EntreMD Business School, and it's the only school of its kind. She's also a podcaster, the EntreMD podcast. Some of you have listened because I've shared it with you. So she does that. She's also a pastor. She's a mentor, and she does a lot of things. She's also a pediatrician and also has her own private practice. I'm gonna stop there, Dr. Una, but please, can you introduce yourself again? Who you are, what you do, and why you do the things that you do. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I'm glad that we're on here today. I've been looking forward to this today. I think you did a fairly good introduction for me. In addition to that, I've been married for 18 years at this point, and I have 4 amazing kids who I homeschool. And so that's a whole other aspect of life happening there. As far as a why, I think a lot about the end, whether that is, my 90th birthday or when I'm not going to be here anymore. And I really want to be a person that when I'm dead and gone, when I die, it's only an empty body that gets buried because, I squeezed out every ounce of potential and, I served my world and I did all I could do. I became all I could be. And that's when I think about why I'm here. It's just like I'm here to serve. Even my becoming is for service, and just serve my world and do it all and go away.
Well, we pray to keep you on this side of eternity as long as possible because you're a blessing, a gift. Now we're talking goal setting. Do they work? Why goal set, Dr. Una? I'll start there. Like, why? What has it done for you? Like, why? Let's
I
start.
mean, it is so important, right? So think about going to a new city. So maybe you're like, oh, I've always wanted to go to Italy. And you go to Venice and you get up in the morning and you have 3 days to be in Venice and you want to capitalize on it. You want to go see all the, like all the landmarks and all of those things. And you only have 3 days. And then you show up and you get in your car and you just start driving. Like, why would you do that? It would take you 3 days to even accidentally hit the first, the first landmark, right? When you know you have 3 days, the smartest thing you do is to decide these are the things I want to see. These are the addresses of the places I want to see. And you take the address and you plug it into the GPS to give you the direction, and then you go there. And you can accomplish in 3 days with what somebody else without without definition won't be able to accomplish in a year. It's the same thing with our lives. I think it's, to get the gift of another year, right? Like at the time of this life, we're about to get into 2025, to have the gift of another year, and then just to show up, like what will be, and all of that. There's no way for you to get massive results. There's no way for you to have, like a great year. There's no way for you to bump into greatness. Like, it's not going to happen accidentally. So I think it's a disservice to show up in a new year, a new week, a new month without a direction. Like, this is where I'm going, right? Like, nothing really works without it. So I think it's very, very important. If you plan to be productive, if you plan to be to get to the end of a year and go like, oh my goodness, what a ride, you don't do that without setting goals.
Wow. Never heard it painted that way. Like, I wouldn't go somewhere and not have a plan for what to do those days, right? So don't waste a whole year. All right. That said, goal setting works. It's important. You got to do it. Where do you start, Dr. Una? Because I can imagine, okay, yeah, I have a goal, but I said that 2 years ago. I said I was going to be healthier this year, or I said I was going to lose 100 pounds. I tried, it didn't work. I tried again the next year, it didn't work. So I feel a little like, I'm not sure it works for everyone. Good for you that you did it, but I'm not sure it works for everyone. So for someone who's watching and says like, okay, where do I start? Let's start there first. And then the next question would be, how do you go about picking goals? So
yeah. Okay, so let's talk about what you said first, because a lot of people say that. I've said it before, it doesn't work, blah, 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 blah. And from what you said, I just want to pull two things that are very common. They're very common mistakes that people make. And the first one is they say things like, I'm going to be healthier, right? And it is not specific enough to motivate you. It is not specific enough to make you take a specific action. And you actually don't know when you hit it, because nobody knows what healthier means. Healthier could mean you lost 5 pounds. It could mean you lost 200 pounds. It could mean that you eat clean now. It could mean you now drink water. It could mean you do 3 5Ks a year. It could mean now you strength train. What does healthier mean? It's so vague that it's not going to motivate you to do anything, and it's not going to quote unquote work. It just can't. And those are the commonest goals people set. I'm going to be healthier. I'm going to save more, right? I'm going to have a better relationship with God. It's just not specific enough, right? And so I walk 2 miles every day. Now, when you get up, to go walk 2 miles. And if you did that most of the year, you're like, I was healthier, right? It could mean that now I drink water. Maybe you're not a water drinker. I'm going to drink water, right? It means, so for financial goals, like I'll be in a better place financially. That is not a goal. I hear people say that all the time. It doesn't mean anything. What does that mean? Does it mean I will be out of debt? Does it mean I'll pay off debt of $10,345.22? Is that what it means? Does it mean I would have saved $10,000? Does it mean I would have invested $100,000? What does it mean? Do you see what I'm saying? So people set goals that are vague, and vague goals don't work. They're kind of like wishes. They're just cool things people say in January to feel better. Okay. And then the other thing is people are like, I've set that goal, it didn't happen. There's also this concept of building a relationship with your goals. Okay. Like, you set the goal and then you forgot about it, and it forgot about you, right? Like it was just done. Okay. But I want you to think about, what we do, right? What we talk about is you set the goal, then maybe you build a vision board, and the vision board is where you can see it. So you remember your goals, right? You set the goal, maybe it's you have a digital version of your vision board, and it's the screensaver on your phone. You set the goal and you have an alarm every day, and you spend 5 minutes looking at your goals for the year. You build a relationship with it, because the thing is, the more times you look at it, the more times you imagine it, the more ideas you come of how to implement it, the more when you see people who could help you with it, you remember and you ask for help. Like, if it's out of sight, it's out of mind. And I'm not I'm not calling anybody out. I'm telling because I've done this, right? You've heard me talk about this, Dr. Tolu, where I set goals. This was 2015, December. I was like, oh my goodness, it's gonna be my best year yet, you know. And I'm setting my goals for 2016, and I'm done setting everything. And for some reason, after that, I found my goals for that year we were in, 2015. They were the same. Like what I had just written and what I wrote a year ago were the same. Why? Because it was somewhere in some drawer. I didn't look at it again after that. I didn't do anything, anything with it. And that's when I was like, my goodness, like you can't set it and forget it. Now, if you set it and forget it, you'll be better than the person who didn't set it. But I mean, we're not trying to just be better, right? We're trying to accomplish stuff. So that's the second thing. People like building a relationship with your goals is so powerful because I mean, it unlocks so many things. And then the third mistake people make is they don't then decide the plan to get there. Because see, when you put the address in the GPS, it doesn't say that's the direction, go. It gives you a step-by-step, follow this yellow brick road and you'll get there, right? And so if my goal is I am going to invest $100,000, right? What does that mean? It could mean I decide 8,300 every month, the end of the month, I'm sending that towards an investment account. If I do that at the end of the year, I will end up with $100,000, right? If I say, that I'm going to strength train 3 days a week and you've tried to do it forever and it didn't work, it may mean I hire a personal trainer and I go to the gym. You see what I'm saying? Like you have to have the plan. So if you have the goal and you have a way of keeping it in front of you and you have a plan, chances are that you'll hit it. But if we just set a vague and not even written, just, this is my year. I'm going to be healthier. This is my year. I'm going to save more. It doesn't work. It just doesn't.
Yeah, it's much more than wishful thinking.
Yes.
And I wanted to share this example. Someone gave it to me. It was really powerful. We talked about, I think it was you, saving. I want to save more money. Saving more money could be the difference between $19 and $20. It's still more. It's $1 more. So you have to be specific. And then you got to have hang out with it. Let it become your friend. Get to talk to it, visualize it, and then have plans, strategic plans. Now, Dr. Una, I have a hiccup. And hiccups are where that's going to be a deterrent to, doing the things. So I have someone who's watching who's like, yeah, but my goals intimidate me. Like they seem so far out of reach. Are the goals meant to stretch you? I don't want to encourage overwhelm. I don't want people like, oh my God, my life has been wasted. I haven't been doing this. Like today's a good day. Hey, we're having this conversation. But how do you encourage that person who's watching, who's like, I feel like it's more pressure. I feel like it's going to overwhelm me. It's going to what are your thoughts, Doc?
Yeah, you asked such amazing questions. I remember us doing this last year and I thought the same thing. Okay. So first of all, let's talk about this regret thing, right? Because sometimes we like, oh, then I wasted all this time, all these years. I didn't set my goals right. I suck, all that kind of stuff. And so I've thought a lot about what do I do with regret? What do I do when I find out I've wasted time and I did something like in a way I shouldn't have done it for 5 years, 10 years and stuff like that. You can't do anything about the past. You definitely don't want to use the present. You don't want to waste the present on the past, right? Because it's still not taking you anywhere, right? Like this is a trap. Sitting and feeling bad about something that happened yesterday is always a trap. It's always a time suck. It is always a waste of time. So what I learned to do is I would then say, oh, I made this mistake. I've taken one for the team. And then I will turn around and look for 10 people, 24 people, 50 people, 100 people, 1,000 people to teach the same thing. And so if these 1,000 people are getting it right, I'm more than made up for my 5 years that I'm wasting. So I wasted, so I'm good. Right. And so I've taken this thing and turned it into a lesson and turned it into wisdom and distributed the wisdom. So I didn't actually lose anything. Right. I turned the failed thing into a win. I flipped it. Right. And so, for instance, you hear me talking about 2015 and 2016 and how my goals were the same. So I'd been busy all year, but I didn't hit any of my goals. I want you to think about it. That's a whole year. But why do I talk about it and have a smile on my face? Because I've told that story over and over and over. And I've helped so many people embrace the process of goal setting and all of that. So something that was bad, quote unquote, right, has become this gift that changed my life. And I used it to change so many other people. So for you, you might be like, but I don't teach, I don't talk like you. That's okay. You can take this video that you're watching right now from Dr. Tolu's channel, and you can go share it to 100 people. So yes, you wasted a year, you wasted some years, but all of a sudden now you've helped so many other people not waste years. And it's like, yay. So that's what I do. So we just, because thinking about the past in that way is not helpful at all. The second thing, when you talk about the overwhelm, when I set this goal, like, what if I don't hit it? What the pressure, all of that stuff. And the way I think about goals, I'll tell you, like I have, Dr. Tolu, I probably hit 50% of the goals I set.
You probably set some hot goals, though, Doc. Just saying.
But I hit 50, and I don't feel any kind of way about it. And I'll tell you the thought process that drives that. So one is that I set the goal, and I set it from a place of curiosity, right? Now, to be clear, I don't set irresponsible goals. So let's use a rubber band, right? Rubber band. Okay. We want the rubber band. We want goals that stretch us, like the rubber band, but we don't want the ones that stretch us so much that we break. Okay. So you should be uncomfortable. So if I say, I'm going to be the president of the United States next year, that's ridiculous. Okay. Because even if I was on that path, there are things that need to happen. Maybe I become the mayor, then I become a governor, I become a senator, I do this thing, I build relationships. Like, I'm not going to go from I never thought about it to I become it in 12 months. That's ridiculous. You see what I mean? But if I say, over the next 3 years, I want to become a mayor, that's going to stretch me. And to be clear, I'm not saying that. I'm giving you an example. I'm just saying, right? But it's a stretch. I could do it. I could do the work and pull it off, but it's a stretch. The other is just ridiculous. Okay. So it's not ridiculous. It's a stretch. I still go like, whew, Lord Jesus needs to show up, because otherwise this is not happening. So there is a stretch, but it can happen, right? Okay. So when I do that, the next thing I do is I define what are the things I need to do to pull that off, right? So let's use money. Numbers are easy to measure. So let's say I want to build a business and I want to have my first year where I hit 7 figures in revenue, right? Let's say that was my goal. And for some of you, maybe it's 100,000. For someone else, maybe it's 10 million. So whatever, just add or remove zeros as you want. But let's say I'm using 1 million as the example. And it's like, okay, what do I need to do? Well, I have a product, and the product is $10,000, right? And so if it's $10,000, I need to sell 100 of those. If I need to sell 100 of those, that means I need to do about 8.3 a month, or let's say 9 a month, right? To pull that off. What do I then need to do to get those 9 clients every month, right? So I build out this whole plan. This is how we're going to get there. Once I do that, I throw away the goal. Like, it stays on the vision board, on the wherever it stays, but it's like in my work time, that's not what I'm focusing on, because that's what people do. So while they're working, like, oh my goodness, I didn't hit the million yet. There's no amount of thinking I didn't hit the million yet that creates a million. But if I focus on getting those 9 clients, then I'm doing the work that takes me there. So what I do is I then work relentlessly on the plan. So if I hit the goal, great. If I don't hit the goal, I'm so much better than if I didn't set the goal and if I didn't do the work to hit the goal. Does that make sense? That's kind of the way I think about it. So I set the goal, decide the plan, then focus on the plan. So I'm impatient, quote unquote, with the plan, with executing on the plan, but I'm patient with the goal. So the goal, I'm like, just stay there, because you can't directly make a goal happen. Well, you can directly do the thing that creates the goal. That's where my focus is. I have control over that. I don't have control over the other one, right? And so when I do that, there's no pressure. And so if I hit it, if I don't hit it, it's like, great.
And who you become through the process of it too is I gotta say, it's powerful. My influence to go, it's amazing. Thank you for sharing. And I love the comment on avoiding regret, because that's a time sucker, a joy sucker, and it's a time waster. It sucks the time, sucks joy, and then it wastes your time. We don't judge, like you say, we observe. I'm practicing that now. What areas of life, for someone who say, okay, you know what, I like this, I want to write my goals, and then start the process, I write down the plans to get there, and I'll set them realistically as possible. What areas of life do you suggest people start to work on? Do you have any
all the areas? Okay, so I'm a Jesus girl, so of course I believe you can have it all. Okay, there's a way to have it all, but you can have it all. And so I don't choose areas. When I teach, I have 9 areas of life that I look at, and I'm like, I want all 9. Okay. So let me give you those 9 areas. The first area is the area that holds everything together. So that is spiritual, right? And so for me, I'm a Christian, so that's my relationship with God, right? That's time spent in prayer, spent in meditation. That is me adopting the character of God, like all of those things, right? That's what that is. It's your walk with God. It's not what you do for Him. It's none of that. It's your walk with Him, just being with Him, and all of that stuff. So that's the first area. The second area is family. Okay. Now, if you're married, that's your relationship with your spouse. What do you want that to be like? I'm somebody be like, all right. It's like you get to choose. You get to choose. You get to decide. You get to set a goal. You get to work on it, right? So it's your relationship with your spouse. If you have kids, your relationship with your kids. If you're not married and stuff like that, and your nuclear family is still like your parents and all of that stuff, what do you want those relationships to look like? And when you're setting goals and you're visionary, you can see the big smile on my face. You get to look away from the present and go like, what do I really want? Right? So it's not about, well, it's like this, or maybe it's like, what do I really want? If I had my way, what would this look like? Right? You allow yourself to go there. Okay, so it's family, right? The third thing is, depending on you, it could be ministry or it could be legacy. The bottom line is, what do I do from what do I do to make my life a gift to my world? How do I serve my world? What is the impact that I'm leaving? Right. And so, for me, I pastor a church, so that's part of it. I lead mentorship meetings. I have like all kinds of write books. I do all of those things. But what is it for you? And you want to start working on that, because at some point, it will be time to look like, what is the legacy I am leaving? Like one day you're going to leave the planet, right? So why leave that to chance? You can start working on that for now. Some of you run nonprofits and all of that, bring about social change, whatever. What is the legacy you're leaving the world? So that's the third thing. These three are in order. For me, is 1, 2, 3. Those three are in order. The rest of them are in no particular order. Okay. So number 4 is health, right? And again, it depends on you. Maybe this is the year you want to eat clean. You want to drink the water. You want to start strength training. You want to drop a number of pounds, whatever that, or you just want to be compliant. Like Dr. Tolu keeps talking about, get the colonoscopy, get the mammogram, go see the dentist. Like you're just like, I'm just going to be compliant, get all my health checks in and all of that stuff. Right. So that's your health. Or maybe it's the thing you want to push yourself. Like, I want to do a marathon. I want to do whatever that is. Right. I do not want to do a marathon. But if you want to, let us know in the chat. I'm happy for you. Okay. So that's your health. The next would be your finances. And when I talk about finances, I'm referring to, what would your income be? What would you spend? How much money would you invest? How much would you save? Are you going to get out of debt? How much will you give? Right? That's part of your finances. Then the next area would be business or career or academics, or any combination of them. So think about it like vocation kind of, right? So if it's your business, how much money are you going to bring in? What kind of team are you going to have? What will be your position in the marketplace and stuff like that? If it's your career, maybe it's a promotion you want to get, or a particular company you want to work for, or, any of those things, are particular income that you're going to bring in, a specific stage you will speak on. You know what that is, right? Your academics, you start, like, I'm going to be a straight A student. Right? I'm going to be a straight A student. I'm going to be president of this club. I'm going to, whatever that is. Right? So goals around that. Number 7, your intellectual development. Like, what new skill am I going to acquire? What new mindset am I going to develop? And think of it like there is something you need to make all the other 8 areas work. I like to talk about it as the master skill. There's one thing that if you spend your time in 2025 developing, it will make the biggest difference. Think of it as a domino, like the domino effect. I learned this first from Brian Tracy. Brian Tracy is amazing. And, I still remember where I was listening to him when he was like, oh, like you should pick one skill. Like I remember the first time I did it was in 1998. And my skill was, was time management. I was like, bruh, I have so many problems. I can't spend 1 year focusing on one skill. Like I need like 25 skills to get my life in order, but the more seasoned I've gotten as, like somebody who is chasing the path to greatness, or an entrepreneur, a mom, or whatever, I've realized there is that master skill, right? So I'll give you an example. For me, I think about what I'm trying to accomplish in 2025. And when I think about it, I run workshops. I have a podcast. I have a YouTube channel. I do a daily prayer meeting. I have the EntreMD Business School where I'm speaking, I'm creating content, doing all of those kind of things. I have a team that I'm leading. And I said, if I became better at speaking, If I chose to master the skill of persuasive speaking, every one of these areas becomes better. And so for 2025, that's the master skill that I'm working on. For last year, I knew the way my business cannot move forward. The ministries I run cannot move forward except until I master this thing called team building. And so 2024, that's what I focused on. Like team build, I got to get really good at this, hiring the right people, onboarding the right people, doing it the right way, all of that stuff. And it has made such a big difference in my life, right? And so for you, what is that? Maybe you're in a position where even though you're bringing in a nice amount of money, your money's like totally out of whack. Maybe it's money management. Maybe that's the thing you need to focus on, right? So what is it? You pick a master skill and then you go all in on the skill. So what is that for you? Right now, you may have a secondary one. Maybe you're like me. You're like, Dr. Una, oh, please, it cannot possibly be one. But I want to challenge you to look for the one, because there always is the one. There may be others, but there is the one. And so that's intellectual development. That was number 7. Is that 7? Okay. Number 8 is your social capital. Now, this is a deal. One of my favorite proverbs ever is Proverbs 13:20. What it says is, walk with the wise and become wise. It is such a game-changing concept. I'm just like, this is so brilliant. So what that means, when you think about all your goals and you're like, this is who I want to become, go find people that are already like that and put yourself in their world, right? People say there's no shortcut to success. Oh, please, there is. This is one of them. Mentorship is the other one, but this is one of them. And this is like mentorship in a way. So there's a way you want your business to look. Who has businesses like that? Put yourself in their circle. There's a way you want your marriage to look. Oh my goodness, like you're having all these challenges in marriage, but all your friends all have challenges in marriage, and y'all get together and talk about how crazy your husbands are. This is not a winning strategy. You find people who are winning and you go put yourself in their circle, and you'll find out that times when you would have blown up and all of that stuff, you remember this person would never do that. So you're calm. Like it's so amazing, right? So when you think about that, you see people who are investing, you hang out with them, you become an investor, is just the way it is. So you start thinking like, okay, these are the things I want to do. Whose world can I insert myself into? And I want to say this because someone may say, oh, I don't have access to people like that. It can literally start with their books, their podcasts, the meetings that they host, masterminds you get to be a part, like things like that, and work your way up. But you need to put yourself in a circle of people who do for fun what you're hustling to do. It rubs off and you just become this person, right? And so Dr. Tolu, you'll see why I'm so big on community. With everything I do, I build a community around it, because if you're in that community, it's positive peer pressure. Like peer pressure is not a bad thing. It's only bad when it's negative peer pressure, right? But when it's positive peer pressure, you just find yourself, right? So I'll tell you this story because it's going to be helpful. I remember with my second business, I just had this nudge, like, why don't you take this business to $1 million in revenue? That year it did the year before it did $260,000 in revenue. So I was like, nobody goes from $260,000 to $1 million. That's not the way this works. Okay. But I happened to be at an event, and this event was for female founders running businesses over $1 million in revenue. And someone stood up to ask a question, but she wanted to give context for the question. So she said, someone approached me to buy my business, and it would be a 9-figure buyout. But, I was thinking, I don't know, if we hang on to it for a number of years, maybe we can do that ourselves. Maybe we can take it to 9 figures, because now we're doing an easy $1 million a month. I remember going like, easy $1 million a month. Here I am thinking I can't do a business that can create $1 million in a year. And this person just said an easy, not just $1 million a month, not hustling to do $1 million, an easy $1 million a month. And that was it. Because I was like, oh no, if she can do that, then I'm tripping. And that's not to say you're comparing to yourself to other people and you want to do whatever they're doing, but it was already a thing. Like, I don't think I can take this to $1 million. Then I meet the person who says easy $1 million a month. So what was the big shift? Was the social capital. That was it. Boom, done. Right? Okay. So that's number 8. Then number 9 is for my fellow type A people in the world. Number 9 is fun.
I knew that would be number 9 for you.
I mean, but it's there, right? Because my natural bent is not to go like, oh, that vacation,
Study.
and so I set goals for it, right? So how you want to go on vacation? How many vacations do you want to go to? If you're married and you have kids, how many couples vacations? Then how many family vacations? Because these are different. It could be as simple as I go get a massage every month, or it could be simple as I have brunch with my friends once a month. Like it doesn't have to be anything complicated, and it doesn't have to be anything that social media has said is the definition of fun. So people talk about hiking. I don't like hiking. It's not fun for me. It's not on my list. I'm not going to do it. Okay. I mean, do it out of curiosity, like, okay, you're being a 2-year-old here. You're saying you don't like something you've never done. Maybe you should go do it. Right. But I'm like, I want to be by the ocean. End of story. Right. Okay. And some other person may say, I like skiing. I remember fractures. I'm not skiing. I'm not going to do that. I don't want to do that.
I remember fractures. Oh my gosh.
And what I'm saying is, pick what is truly fun to you. Like for me, taking walks and being in nature and all that is fun for me, right? What is fun for you? Own it. You love reading. Like I go and I sit in Barnes and Nobles, put in my headphones so nobody feels the need to talk to me. And I'm just reading a book and just observing people walk by who are not going to talk to me. I'm an introvert. I'm just like, this is great. And so for me, that's a great way to spend an evening. I just go hang out and do that. So pick what's fun for you. And you have that. So these are 9 areas. So this is the deal. You might go like, oh, that's a lot. But the truth of the matter is this: we have enough hours. Think about how much time we spend on Netflix unintentionally, spend on Facebook unintentionally. Like this is you putting yourself in a position where you now live intentionally. You now pick what you really want to do. You're curating a life you love. It's not accidental. You're not spending so much time on distractions that you don't have time to live the life you want. This is about intentionality. And no matter how it feels when you start, just remember, you're going to do this every year. You're going to do this every quarter. You're going to maybe look at it every month to like revise it and things like that. So the truth of the matter is start from where you are and you're going to get better and better and better and better at it. For me, you go like, how did she rattle those 8 things without even looking? I've done it for over a decade at this point. Right? I've done it. I've taught it so many times. Like even in the last 3 weeks, right? And so I'm always around it. So the more you're around it, the better you get at it. But I think about if you went into 2025 defining what you want these 9 areas of your life to look like. Think about how much more amazing your life will be. Intention. Yeah.
Powerful. I knew it'd be powerful, powerful. I've taken notes. And like I said, she's my mentor, so I've been doing this now 3 years, three and a half years.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Definitely a big shift in every area. I want to share some of my notes. I was going to ask a question someone asked. I love how you say complaining is not a winning strategy. That's powerful. And then be with people who do for fun what you're hustling to do. Just by association, you upgrade because even your level of thinking. So that was very, very powerful. And picking a master skill to focus on. But someone asked a question here. Let me pull that up. It was Dr. Valerie. Thank you for joining.
Hi, Dr. Valerie.
She said, oh man, so many chats. Give me one second. She said, Doc, if you make about 50% of your goals, you said you've done that so far. Do you shift the other 50% to the following week, month, quarter, or year?
Yeah. So let's say I set a goal and I said, okay, in my business this year, we're gonna do 4 million. Okay. And at the end of the year, I did 2 million. The next year, I may still decide I'm gonna do 6 million. Right? And even if I don't hit it, I get a 5. Like, cry me a whole river. Who cares? You know what I'm saying? And so I roll it over, but it doesn't mean I take just exactly the 50%. At that moment, I just decide what my new number is, and then I go for it. Yeah. So it's not a formula, if you will. I think that the important thing to note is if you hit 50% of your goal, chances are you are still further along than you would have been if you didn't set that goal. Right? I remember the first business book I wrote, right, which was the EntreMD method. And I said, oh, the average nonfiction book sells 250 copies in the first year. 250 copies. That's it. I was like, well, I don't roll like that. I want to do 1,000 copies in the first week. Okay. So I set the goal. I'm going to do 1,000 copies. I created the plan. This is the plan that will get me there. I executed on the plan. I ended up with 850. Do you think for 1 second I was sad that I didn't hit 1,000? Not at I was like, cry. It was 850. Cry me a whole river, whatever. And then I kept pushing to sell the books I wanted to sell. But I did a lot more than I would have done if I didn't have any expectation, or if I expected what everybody else gets, which is 250 copies.
All right.
You see what I
Awesome.
mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
And some areas you hit it and surpass it. Some
Mhm.
areas you won't hit it. That's what I mean. Like when I say 50%, sometimes it's not 50% of the goal. It's like I set this number of goals. I only achieved these ones. Like you have next year. Because this is why it's important, Dr. Tolu. You remember when we did the EntreMD Business School Vision Retreat in 2021. We did it in person. We did it in Hilton Head, South Carolina. And I remember sitting right by my dining table. I was like, man, we have all these things. We have the swag. I need one other wow factor for my people. Like, what else could I give them? This is what I was thinking about. And I was like, hey, I wrote a book a long time ago. Let me find it. Maybe that will be good. So I go find the book, Is the Fight to Become. I wrote that book in 2018. And so that was 3 years ago from the time of the retreat. So I pulled the book out and I started flipping through the page. I was like, oh, wow, man, these are some great stories and all that. It dawns on me, EntreMD is not in the book. EntreMD wasn't even a plan when I wrote that book in 2018. But at the time I was reading the book, EntreMD was a valid company. We had 3 national events, if you will. People flew from all over the country to come. We had a top 1% podcast. We had a business school. We were helping people turn their businesses around. 3 years. I remember looking at it, I was like, this is nuts. And this is exactly what my people need, because I want to show you like what the things that can change in 3 years don't make sense. Now, why am I telling you that? I'm telling you that when you set your goals and you set the plan and you do them properly and you chase the plan and you're going after it and you're changing, you're learning the master skills and you're doing all of that, sometimes you'll get what people consider disappointments because, oh, I set this goal and I didn't quite hit it. But if you stop after years and look back, you will blow your own mind. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, so it's so powerful, even when you think you're not hitting it. So the important thing is, did I set the goal? Did I set it properly? Did I create the plan? Did I relentlessly execute the plan? If you do these 4 things, whether you think you hit your goals or not, you will end up in a magical place. And that's the truth. So I don't get discouraged if I don't hit it. I'm just like, whoopsie, let's go.
I love it. I love it. I love it. There's always progress.
Always.
There's always progress, but you got to set your goals and work towards them. Dr. Una, I'm going to put you on the spot. I think we should do a part 2 because we're 7 minutes past time. A part 2, maybe first quarter, second quarter of next year. I'm asking you live, so you can't say no.
For you, I will. You know,
okay.
I will.
All right. Yeah. So that we can catch up for those who are like, oh, I'm struggling, what we do, so we can do like a brush up. But this has been so powerful. I've taken notes. I'm glad this is recorded. So like she said earlier, please share this, forward this to those who could find this useful. But Dr. Una, for someone who's watching, I have doctors who are watching here and who will watch the replay, and they want to connect with you. They want to be in rooms with you. They want to be challenged just by some association with you. Where can people find you, Doc?
So there are 2 places I'm going to give you. One place would be my website, is entremd.com. There you will find our podcast where we talk shop all day, every day, business of medicine, mindset, all of those things, setting goals, a lot of things about setting goals. You will find our books there. We have 4 best-selling books. You'll find them there. You'll find the way to connect my team if you're like, how can I work with Dr. Una, with EntreMD and all of that. So that would be the first place. If you're also a person who is like, man, 2025, I really want to take my business to the next level. I want to win. I want to do this goal thing. I want to be like Dr. Tolu, like what? All of these things. Then she's going to put my social media handle for my Facebook page. And you can just send a PM like, hey, I'm Dr. So-and-so. This is what I'm trying to accomplish in 2025. I'd love to work with you. What are my options? And my team will take excellent care of you. We are people who are committed to seeing physicians win. That is our assignment. That is why we're here. Okay. And we've done it for the last 6 years. And I will say that we are category of 1 as far as being able to help people create results. So yes, we would love to talk with you and we would love to support you. We have big dreams for 2025 for the physician community. So we'd love for you to be a part of it.
You would thank me for this. So please, there's on so many levels you can connect with her and meet her where you're at. And there's also, thank you, Makita, EntreMD.com/call. You can also book a call. She's also on Instagram. I'm going to put it at the bottom there as well. She's on LinkedIn, and she has the amazing EntreMD podcast, which I'm also going to put at the bottom. Dr. Una, I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming. This was good.
Thank you for having me. And thank you for everything you do for your patients, for your physicians, for your family, for the people you mentor. I mean, this woman has people come into her office as MAs and pre-med students, and they're in medical school now and all the things. Like she's a total rock star. So thank you. Thank you for everything you do.
Thank you, Dr. Una. All right. On that note, thank you all for joining us live and replay. As always, please like, subscribe, forward, share, do the things to let this move in the web or social media space so it can be a blessing to others. And as always, if you or anyone you know is looking for a thorough, compassionate, and caring family physician who will have conversations like this to help you live long and well, I am she. Have a good one, everyone. Thanks again. Thanks again. This